Alright, what is going on, my dudes? So we are back here today with another Mr. Fantastic Abyss video. I think I probably already uploaded my Old Man Logan solo, but here we are with the buffed Mr. Fantastic in the Abyss synergy list. So no Fantastic Four synergies, no Council of Reeds here, absolutely nothing. We have no Suicides on, no boosts on, only Sig 20, and we're here up against Abyss Havok. Now, Mr. Fantastic has something in his abilities that definitely stuck out to me. It's that he has a really high amount of physical and energy resistance, okay? So I was thinking that, while I was going through Abyss here, I went through, Luke Cage for the Shang-Chi video, and then I went through Old Man Logan because he was next. I was thinking to myself, I feel like Mr. Fantastic could be a decent option for this Abyss Havok because of that energy resistance. And as we can see, the special 2 puts a shock on the opponent, okay? So that's going to make it a little overboard when it comes to the detonations and whatnot. But if we just play this guy like normal without the special 2, once we get ramped up, we're going to have to go for one more special 2, of course. But now that we're all ramped up and we have our 9 debuffs from the special 2 on the opponent, we could pretty much just keep those plasma debuffs on Mr. Fantastic for the majority of the fight. And without the Suicide Masteries on, as you can see, he's healing very, very fast from those plasma debuffs, okay? So that's really, really nice. And when they detonate, they only detonate for about 5% health, or if even, like that did about 3% health right there. So that really was not too bad at all, as you can see. But we're pretty much topped up at a full yellow bar of health there. That detonation took 4% health off. But as of right now, we're going through Abyss Havok, and at first I didn't think that I was going to be able to do too well against this guy, so I was doing like my full 5-hit combos instead of really trying to like parry heavy like you really should in Abyss against, these types of fights, okay, with these types of champions. So I feel like if I would have parry heavy from the start, I probably would have had a better outcome when it comes to health. But I'm actually very pleased with the outcome of this fight, and we'll talk about the outcome when we get there, of course. But at this point, I also have the special 3 ready to go, and at this point, I'm thinking to myself, all right, let's get that Passive Fury. Let's see what kind of damage we can do with Mr. Fantastic when we have pretty much 10 debuffs on the opponent. If we go for the parry, it'll be 11. So that's going to be a really nice Passive Fury here. I don't know why I'm not throwing it, man. I feel like I could have taken a lot more damage off of this guy if I played the fight properly from the beginning, but I didn't feel like going back and doing it. But anyway, let's go for the special 3 now. We have 11 debuffs on the opponent because the parry stun does in fact count. So we're going for the special 3, and we're going to have that 30% Passive Fury, 30% of modified attack, and keep in mind we have plus attack for every debuff on the opponent. So that's why it's going to be so much damage here, okay? So we're going to go right in here, and as you can see, we had a 6k light attack, no suicides. All right, the heavy attack, if it crits, does over 20k. Again, over 20k, that's with no suicides, with no synergies, so that's really not too bad at all. From Sig 20 rank 3 Mr. Fantastic here. All right, at this point you can pretty much chain some of the heavy attacks in the corner. And now something that's really, really awesome here, okay, I want to go back for a second, just a little bit more, because I do want to talk about this. I want to hide my face cam here. Watch his power bar. This is actually really insane utility when it comes to Mr. Fantastic. When you have 3 of those suppression debuffs on, look at his power bar, and the evade right there comes in clutch. Look at the power bar. It does not move at all. It obviously moves a little bit, but look at this, man. How many heavy attacks? We're basically back up to another. We're back up to another special 3, and he didn't even come close to getting a bar of power. He didn't even come close to getting a bar of power. That's very impressive. That is actually that is very interesting utility right there. And all you have to do is get off 2 special 2s against any opponent, as long as you use the suppression debuff at the beginning of the fight, and they're pretty much never going to gain a bar of power here at all. It's actually very, very impressive utility. And in stuff like Abyss, you shouldn't really do your 5-hit combos and whatnot, right? But in any other fight, like look at this, you can see right there, we're just beating into him, and the bar is just not really moving at all, and we're almost back up to another special 3, which is making it pretty simple to cycle those passive furies there. It's really interesting, man. When I feel like I figured that out about halfway through the fight here. This is about where I figured it out, okay? As you can see, when you keep that passive fury up the entire fight, you are doing a lot of damage. And keep in mind, with the plasma debuffs on Mr. Fantastic, we're pretty much healing from willpower the entire fight. We're going to be topped up to over 90% health in just a second here, and it keeps growing, man. So the detonations aren't being too detrimental to Mr. Fantastic. You know, now at this point in the second set of warfare charges, they are doing about 10% health each, but by the time they come back, we're healing that 10% right back. So Mr. Fantastic is actually a very, very decent option for Havok, especially when you keep in mind that people very often bring a Havok counter, don't end up soloing this guy anyway, unless they like play perfectly with Warlock, for example, and they boost up and they have the, you know, Suicide Masteries on and Deep Wounds and they're boosted. So they usually end up using 1 or 2 revives for this guy anyway. And Mr. Fantastic is here, who's also a very good option for the Darkhawk. I'm going to go ahead and see if the second Darkhawk is on this path as well, because I am curious, so I am going to check that out while we're going through it. I have the map right here. It looks like Darkhawk is not on the same path, but that's totally fine. Either way, you know, there is that first initial Darkhawk, which people usually use either Magneto or Human Torch for, or even ramp up Aegon on. But yeah, Mr. Fantastic is a great option for that Darkhawk, man. And the point is, okay, what I was trying to say is that people usually bring a Havok counter as well, but now it's looking like Mr. Fantastic could be a Havok counter as well, because, you know, we're approaching the end of the fight here, the end of the first the second set of warfare charges or skirmish charges, whatever they're called, and we're getting close to 50% health. So if we can get Havok to 50% health, that means that we can get this guy down in 1 revive, which is really not bad when it comes to Abyss fights, because 1 revive is really not asking for too much in this type of content when you are limited by the amount of hits that you can do, okay? Especially in a fight that's so specific like Abyss Havok, where you kind of need a Havok counter. Knowing that Mr. Fantastic can be a Havok counter in Abyss is going to make, you know, team building a lot easier for this type of content. As you can see at this point, we have exactly 20 hits left. We're going to go for the special 3 one more time here. Havok is down to 59% health. We're going to try really, really hard to get Havok down to the 50% health mark before we die from the skirmish charges here, okay? Because if we do, that means we get through this fight in just 1 revive, which is exactly the ideal scenario we would like to be in. So we're doing almost 24k heavies now at this point, which is really, really good. That's really, really good damage here from an unboosted, no suicide, no synergy champion here, okay? We're just going strict parry heavy. As you can see, it's taking about like 2 heavy attacks to take off 1% of Havok's health, maybe 3, depending on if it crits or not, depending if the passive fury is there, okay? But basically, like I said, if I just parry heavied from the beginning, I feel like I would have been able to get Havok down to about 30% health as opposed to about 50% health. So I think I'm going to say that Mr. Fantastic is definitely a very good counter to Abyss Havok, which is essentially what this video is showing off, right? So one more special 3 here. One more special 3, and we're just going to maximize the rest of these hits, okay? 8 charges left. We're going to go for the a nice 10k medium attack there. Going to go for a heavy attack there, which is 10k non-crit, which is not bad. 6 charges left, 51% health. We have 5 hits left, and oh my god, we ate a heavy attack right at the end. What a way to end it. But we ended at 51% health, which is really, really good. If we did end up hitting him there at the end, we would have gotten down to 50, which means we can get this guy down in just 1 revive, which means that Mr. Fantastic is a very good option for Abyss Havok, which there are 2 of on this path. But anyway, my dudes, it's going to be it for this Mr. Fantastic showcase video. If you enjoyed it, drop your boy a big ol' like. Comment what you think about Mr. Fantastic versus Abyss Havok in the comment section below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future buffed gameplay videos coming to you very, very soon. I'll be seeing you around.